You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Let's talk about what's happening when it comes to federal judges. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee moved forward Steve Menashe, somebody who was highly unqualified, and all the Republicans on that panel voted for him. This is the key. Yesterday at the White House, at this huge rally where they touted these far right-wing judges. They made it clear that they are going to pack the federal bench. Trump has appointed 25% of all of the federal judges on the appellate bench. That is a huge issue. What we're now talking about is that Republicans want to put folks on there to serve the next 40 to 50 years. Julian, this had better be an issue for Democrats in 2020. It has always been an issue for Republicans. These are the folks who are going to be ruling on civil rights, on environmental laws, on all our federal laws. Somebody better pay attention to what's going on.
We absolutely need to, Roland. They're finding very young people, some as young as 35, 39. They have a life expectancy of at least 40 years. Most people don't step down from these judicial appointments. So we basically are looking at people who are, at the state level, the regional level, appellate level, changing the law. Changing the law. We've seen what this means in terms of voting rights. We have a series of voting rights things we're dealing with. The environment, of course, they don't believe in climate change, and so you have all kinds of pollution. But we could go down the list and check out the issues. The fact is that Democrats have not made this issue of the courts clear enough, and therefore, especially millennials who are voting, frankly, don't get it. I'm not dumping on millennials, but I'm simply saying that when a Hillary in 2016 talks about the Supreme Court, you don't make it plain. You have to talk about more than the Supreme Court. You have to talk about every other level of a judiciary, and none of us have done that. And so we need an education about that.
But Erica, well, Erica, that's one of the reasons that's what I'll try to do on this show, trying to walk folks through this, because we're talking about people who are going to have, again, you're going to be the nation majority of people of color in 24 years. These folks will be serving another 25, 30 years on the federal bench. This is all by design.
Absolutely, Roland. And to be quite honest, I and Dr. Ali had a conversation off camera last week talking about the importance of the courts and why that is not something that, quite frankly, is something that's layered over into different communities, folks that are Democrats. And quite plainly, one of the things that you pointed out is that, usually people's experience with the courts, particularly black and brown people, usually has a negative connotation. Even if it's someone that's in their immediate family, it is by looking at police shootings and things of that nature. But here's where we have to kind of stop. And so these people that are being appointed, overwhelmingly 80% of them are white men. And as you already said, those folks are under 50. Dr. Malveaux talked about some
almost 90%. In fact, not one African American, only one Latino.
Right, and we're talking about these are the people.
About 150 plus federal judges. Again, all white except one.
Right, and these are the people that'll be hearing appeals when you're talking about, sexual discrimination, all types of discrimination that falls up under the Civil Rights Act. These are the people that will be hearing and listening to those cases. And if their worldview is shaped by an ideology which says that my whiteness makes us right, makes me right, and makes me a priority, then that's already null and void. And then even when we move to impeachment, we already see how Democrats, quite frankly, are not handling the whole impeachment explanation well. So to even believe that these individuals, 150, as you mentioned, plus that have already been nominated, could just be one by one impeached, that's not enough. The education, what you're doing on this show, the things that are being talked about and really laid out to bear are what people need to take accountability for and to become well educated in that.
Teresa, you're in the communications business, and again, Democrats have not established a narrative that walks people through this. Republicans have. He's essentially told white conservative evangelicals, look, I'm going to just hand y'all the federal judiciary. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to. The Republicans get it. Democrats don't.
And that's the problem. So when we start, when Democrats, I believe, start campaigning, they campaign based off emotion and the issues. But we don't educate on the process. And when we start educating people on the process, we then start to open a lot of avenues of how to, them to start teaching inside of their communities. And so I think that if we start opening that gateway, if Democrats start expanding their message and start having real conversations with local municipalities and starting to, round out that conversation and saying, hey, I don't just need you to tell your people to vote. I need you to educate them on what the next ballot position question is instead of just putting it on a ballot for people to vote. So again, when you start educating the public then feels empowered to come out to vote, right? Otherwise, you still have that ignorance, and thus people feel like they feel like, they don't know what's going on or what the process is, they then stay home.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, it's the holiday season. This is when you think about spending time with family and friends. This is also when you count your blessings and support those less fortunate. This year, be a holiday hero and change someone's life forever. Right now, hundreds of thousands of Americans are sitting in jail without being convicted of a crime. Why? Because they lack the financial resources to pay their bail. Now, think about it. If you are arrested for any minor offense, you will be taken directly to jail. If you don't have bail money, you will stay there until a court date is scheduled. That could be days, weeks, or even months. Simply put, America's bail system is broken for people of color. Freedom should be free. That's why the Ebony Foundation has partnered with the Bail Project and is sponsoring the Home by the Holiday campaign. The Bail Project has helped bail out thousands of people over the years, and with your help, they plan to get 1,000 people out of jail by New Year's Day. And that, of course, would be a great holiday gift for many families. A donation from you today can change someone's life tomorrow. Now that you know the people of color represent upwards of 90% of the jail population across the country. Now, without bail, nearly 90% of those charged with misdemeanors pled guilty. Now, however, with paid bail, less than 2% receive the jail sentence. Sometimes justice needs just us. To join the fight, you can donate $25, $50 or more to help the Ebony Foundation bring our brothers and sisters home by the holiday. To donate, go to homebytheholiday.com. That's homebytheholiday.com. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.